the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
For you, girl, there's just not enough love in the world. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and you know we're like Einstein over here. We have no special talents. We're just passionately curious about all things pertaining to men. How in the hell did we get here, and where is it that we want to go? Since I am an illiterate sort, we've been using P's: pertaining, purpose, passionate. How about this one? Problems. Don't we all have problems? All men have problems. And really, we know that there is growth in problems, and we've done a few episodes here. What was my very last one? Make a decision. The one right before that was, are you enough? Do you feel forgotten? So problems therein. Okay. Vasodilation occurring, Copenhagen, at the bottom of my left cheek. Feeling better. Here's a good question, man. When you portended to, meaning a fancy word for pretending, that you had no problems, did you feel better than once you acknowledge that maybe you do have a few points of concern and or inadequacies? We know that God created men, and we know that we are all fallible men. I'm going to tell you that I actually feel better about myself with an accurate assessment and acknowledgement of my problems, because I always knew they were there. I actually feel more content now that I have taken ownership of them, that when I pretended everything was just perfect. And as my son is always telling me, who's going to carry the boats? Hey, Dave Goggins has even gotten to him too, right? And ultimately it's us, man. We are carrying the boats. And that was part of that decision-making episode. If you're not carrying a boat, then you know either yourself or someone in your life is drowning. So we all have them. I'll tell you another reason I feel more content. I actually feel closer, more real with other men. There is actually a brotherhood, a bond there. And then that allows us to better do something about it. I mean, recently I got on Facebook and Instagram, really because directly and indirectly to have the ability to communicate with other men. And yes, there are a few females there on Facebook that I've friended, acknowledged, because they're friends of the family. I believe them to be stand-up people and not your typical run-of-the-mill floozy. And so that's all cool, but primarily men, because I wanted to be able to interface with them directly and indirectly and actually see what is going on. But you and I both know most people don't put out there for people to see what is an accurate reflection of their lives. How many dudes post an amazing anniversary photo, probably even the food, right? The roses they bought. 3 months later, they're dead at their own hands. Wife says she cherishes this man. Oh, love of my life. 2 months later, he's left the house, or she's left the house, or a child has run away from home. Isn't it time to stop pretending? Isn't it time to get real? We are all afflicted with certain things, some by our own hand, some by the hand that we were dealt, and then those start communicating with each other, and we have to find a new way. And I will tell you that in that new way is when you will find, just like the last episode, that peace that thus far in your life you have been lacking. And this isn't going to be a long show today. It's just simply an acknowledgement that we are all in the same boat. Therefore, we are all equally yoked as sinners and imperfect beings. If you want to do mankind and your brothers a favor, let's take ownership of that. And let's start reacting and interacting more real. And here is what I'm going to leave you with. I think it is impossible as a busy man to have a multitude of friendships. I mean, I've done a horrible job of maintaining friendships because I always thought I had to portend to be so pious and perfect that I wouldn't put the effort in or the time to get away from my own family and better cultivate these relationships. I never wanted my missus to think that I was interested in doing other things other than simply being at home. And or heaven forbid, where's he going? Oh my gosh, room for scrutiny. But all that was killing your own desires, killing your need to be involved, because we are social creatures, and I know I'm definitely one. And that's those giftings that God gives you. You can make an influence in other people's lives. But in mass, maybe, but probably not. It's these day-to-day interactions that will keep someone alive and or edge them forward and or even take them off the edge so that they can continue, drive on with the mission. So my call to action for you today, guys, is to take a small group of those and think about our friendships. There are a lot of friendships that people have simply because you are the Duracell battery that can entertain them, provide them the energy that they may not possess, maybe to share in experiences they wouldn't otherwise happen. So in that regard, a lot of friendships are draining. They're there to take from you. And that's not a real friendship. A real friend is someone who knows, and from all this social media that I've been monitoring here as of late, one, to do exactly what I just told you, to interact directly and indirectly, but also ultimately to have a body of men whereby we can share knowledge. I can share this show, we can share ideals, and we know going back that we are all in this same effing boat, this boat of life, and this boat of maintaining our souls, even if we know that they are already saved. So very few friends are going to routinely check upon you. If you have been distant, maybe they have noticed a behavioral modification, maybe you just don't simply see yourself. And then consistently check on you to make sure that whatever is holding you down or back, you have remedied and or escaped from. So what I am going to do, men, is make me a list of 10 people, and it may expand. And from this point forward, I am going to check on these men and to make sure that their mental state no matter what people think about them in public. But I am going to check on them behind the scenes to find out what is really going on in their lives. And maybe I can step in and help, even if it is just simply to listen and or offer a kind word. So until next time on the Comfortable in Chaos podcast, I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock, and I ask you to get your group of 10.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.